I never thought I'd be the kind of man who would ghost his own wife. But life has a way of pushing you into corners you never imagined. My name's Daniel, and I'm 38 years old. I've been married to Laura for 7 years, and like every marriage, ours has had ups and downs. But the last few months, they'd been nothing short of brutal. It started small, little arguments over things that didn't matter. Laundry left unfolded, me forgetting to take the trash out, her leaving dishes in the sink. But somewhere along the way, those small fights turned into something bigger. Suddenly, it wasn't about laundry or dishes anymore. It was about respect, attention, and love, or rather, the lack of it. One night, after another pointless spat about nothing, Laura turned to me with a look of finality in her eyes. "No intimacy for a month," she snapped. "I need space, and maybe this will teach you to take me seriously." I froze. At first, I thought she was bluffing, but her tone left no room for doubt. The words hit me harder than I expected. Not because of the act itself, but because it felt like a punishment, a weapon she was choosing to use against me. I nodded quietly, though inside, something cracked. For the first 2 weeks, I played along. I thought maybe she just needed time. Maybe she'd soften. Maybe we'd talk it out. But instead of softening, she grew colder. She barely spoke at dinner, her phone became her constant companion, and the only words between us were logistical. "What time are you home? Did you pick up groceries? Did you pay the bill?" By the 3rd week, something shifted in me. I stopped waiting for her. I stopped trying to bridge the distance. Every time I looked at her, I remembered the way she'd weaponized intimacy, the way she treated me like a misbehaving child instead of her partner. So I pulled back. I answered her short texts with shorter ones. I stopped making conversation. When she reached for her phone at dinner, I didn't even bother. And by the time that month was nearly over, I made a choice. I ghosted her. Not in the dramatic way you'd ghost someone you're dating, but in the quiet, suffocating way you can ghost someone who shares your house. I stopped being there emotionally, mentally, and eventually even physically. I worked late hours, spent time at the gym, crashed at a buddy's place when I didn't feel like going home. Then it happened. On a Saturday evening, when I was at a cafe catching up with an old friend, my phone buzzed. It was Laura. At first, I ignored it. Then it buzzed again, and again. Finally, I picked up. Her voice was different this time, shaky, almost desperate. "Daniel," she said, and I could hear the tears in her throat. "I've changed my mind. Please come home." I didn't mean it. I thought you'd fight for me, not disappear like this. For a moment, I didn't say anything. The noise of the cafe faded around me as her words sank in. Changed her mind? Like intimacy was some switch she could turn on and off whenever it suited her? Like I was supposed to sit quietly, waiting for her to grant me permission to feel wanted again? I took a deep breath, staring at the half-empty coffee cup in front of me, and realized something. This wasn't about a single month of rejection. It was about the way she'd stopped seeing me as a partner long before that night. I didn't rush home that night. I let her words sit with me, heavy and sharp, as I finished my coffee in silence. My friend asked if everything was okay, and I just shrugged. What was I supposed to say? That my wife thought intimacy was some bargaining chip she could revoke and return at will? That she expected me to grovel for what should have been mutual love and respect? When I finally did walk through the front door, she was waiting for me on the couch. Her eyes were red. Mascara streaked across her cheeks. For a moment, I almost softened, almost gave in to the instinct to comfort her. But then I remembered all those nights of cold silence, the weeks of her turning away like I was nothing more than an inconvenience. "You ignored me," she said through her tears. "Why didn't you fight for us?" I let out a bitter laugh, one I didn't even know was sitting in my chest. "Fight? Laura, marriage isn't supposed to be a battlefield where one person withholds love and the other begs for scraps. I didn't ghost you because I stopped loving you. I ghosted you because you stopped respecting me." Her lips trembled. "I just wanted you to realize how serious I was. I thought if I set boundaries." I cut her off. "Boundaries are one thing. Punishment is another. You didn't set a boundary. You handed me a sentence. You turned intimacy into a weapon. And once you crossed that line, something in me broke. Do you understand that? She buried her face in her hands, sobbing harder now. I thought you'd chase me. I thought you'd prove you still wanted me. I shook my head. Wanting someone shouldn't require passing their tests. I married you because I thought we were a team. But you don't test teammates. You trust them. The silence that followed was suffocating. I stood there, looking at the woman I'd shared 7 years of my life with, and realized I was at a crossroads. I could forgive her, pretend this was just another rough patch, and slip back into the cycle. Or I could acknowledge what had become painfully clear, that love without respect is just a slow death. Finally, I spoke, my voice quieter but steadier. You can't dangle intimacy over my head like a prize, Laura. That's not marriage, it's manipulation. And if you think that's love, then maybe you don't really know what love is anymore. Her eyes widened, fear replacing tears. Are you saying you're leaving me? I hesitated, then nodded. I don't know what the future holds, but I know I can't keep living like this. I can't keep being punished for not meeting expectations I didn't even know existed. If you've truly changed your mind, then it shouldn't take me walking away to make you realize what you have. I grabbed my jacket, my keys, and for the first time in weeks, felt a strange kind of peace wash over me. As I closed the door behind me, I heard her cry out my name, but I didn't turn back. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do in love isn't to fight harder. It's to walk away when respect is gone. And that night, I finally chose myself.